Sanctions are the one weapon that America has that could make President Erdogan think again. The fact that they're limited sanctions doesn't matter. They send a signal to the world markets, foreign investors, currency speculators, and the signal is that Turkey is at loggerheads with the strongest economy in the world, and that frightens the world markets. We saw this last year when President Trump imposed sanctions on Turkey over its prosecution of an American priest. The sanctions were imposed in July. Again, they were on steel and aluminum, limited sanctions. But in August, the lira collapsed. In September, inflation hit 25%. In October, Turkey released that priest. Now, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan cannot bear an economic collapse at this stage. He's lost elections this year, which deprived him of the two biggest cities in the land, Istanbul and Ankara. His party or its predecessors have controlled those cities for the past 25 years. So any economic shock at this stage would further decrease his popularity. So I think Erdogan is entering a period that is going to be difficult for him politically as well as economically.
Meanwhile, Jasper, you spent Monday near Kobani, just on the Turkish side of the border. Can you give me an idea of how people there are feeling and how they're reacting to what's going on?
Yes, well, just across the border from Kobani is the Turkish town of Suruç and a series of villages. And those villages and the town are occupied by Kurds. It's a Kurdish stronghold. They elect a mayor of the Kurdish HDP party. And they're very upset about what is happening because they have relatives in the Kurdish part of Syria. Now, since this offensive in Syria began on Wednesday last week, 3 residents of Suruç's villages have been killed by mortar bombs coming across from Syria. People are very reluctant to speak to the press because it's a very tightly policed town. We were told not to speak to anybody who is critical of the operation. So they're scared of talking to the press. However, I asked one man what the people think when mortar bombs come across from Syria and kill the people locally. I said to him, do the people blame the Turkish government or do they blame the Syrian Kurds? And the person said to me, they do not blame their relatives in Syria. And to me, that said it all.